I just realized that my microphone was muted. Hello and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by other historians, but mainly things we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. I can already hear Doom Guy giving me hell about the microphone being muted at the beginning. Oh, here we go. Anyway, the sources of this information come from the smart device application Today in History, What Happened Today in History, Historical Calendar, and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources and music done by Carrera and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar of the description below. Anyway, I am Xander, and you are you, and today is Freya's Day, aka Friday, February 3rd, 2023. So, let's get on into the history today, shall we? There we go, this one. Alright, starting us off in 1377, we have a mass execution of the population between 2,500 and 5,000 of Cesena, Italy, by Breton troops of Giovanni Acuto under the command of Robert, Cardinal of Geneva, acting as the legate of Pope Gregory XI. Wow. Talk about listing the chain of command, how many hands the order got passed down to kill people, but yeah, jeez. In 1451, Sultan Mehmed II, the Conqueror, inherited the throne of the Ottoman Empire. Alright, and we know what he did with that. Conquered. Moving on up to 1488, we have Bartholomew Diaz discovered Mosso Bay, Angra dos Vaqueros. And he's an explorer, so it has to be someplace. Let's check this. What is this? Oh, it's Mossel Bay. Okay. It is a harbor town on the Garden Route in South Africa's Western Cape Province. It's known for the wide Santos Beach and the 19th century Cape St. Blaise Lighthouse, which offers bay views. The Bartolomeo Diaz Museum Complex includes the Maritime Museum, the Shell Museum, and botanical gardens. The post office tree, a milkwood tree in the complex, has been used as a mail collection point since the 1500s. Wow. So that's pretty cool. Alright, and all that happened because of this guy finding it. Alright. 1576, Henry of Navarre, the future Henry IV, escaped from Paris. Alright. 1634, most elaborate mosque of the Carolingian age, the Triumph of Peace, held at Whitehall Palace in London in front of King Charles I, written by James Shirley, with sets by Inigo Jones. Alright, I have no idea. What is that? The Triumph of Peace. So, sounds like some kind of musical number, play or something. I don't know. I offer that as my challenge to you viewers. What is this? What is a mask, anyway? Masquerade, actually? So there we go. Most elaborate masquerade of the Carolingian age. Alright. Let's take a look at this, actually. Let's see what this looked like. Triumph of Peace. Images. Okay, well this looks like a painting, so, what year? 1634. Okay, let's try this. Okay, still not getting anything, so, but at least, I believe it's a masquerade party. Anyway, let's move on up to 1844. Hector Berlioz's overture Carnaval Romain premiered in Paris. Alright. Ooh, we got some Mark Twain here in 1863. Samuel Clemens first used the pen name Mark Twain in a Virginia city newspaper, the Territorial Enterprise. Huh. So this is the birth of the moniker. Well, happy birthday, name Mark Twain. In 1882, circus owner P.T. Barnum bought his world-famous elephant Jumbo. Alright. It went on to get tortured, for human entertainment in the circus. Ooh, this is interesting. 1894, the first U.S. steel sailing vessel, Deregio, was launched at Bath, Maine. So, what's 1894? So let's take a look at this. 1894, Deregio. Huh, okay, yeah. It is a boat with boat-like qualities. Yep. Alright, let's move on up to 1917. The U.S. ocean liner Housatonic was sunk by a German submarine on the same day that U.S. President Woodrow Wilson broke off diplomatic relations with Germany. So those two aren't directly connected, but they are connected because of the First World War, and eventually the U.S. got into war. The straw that broke the camel's back was the sinking of the Lusitania, but it took a while for us to mobilize and eventually get over there. But when we did, we kicked some Hun ass. Tell you what. 1924, Canada defeated the United States 6-1 to retain the Olympic ice hockey gold medal, won at the 1920 Summer Games. At the Chamonix Games, Canadian LW Harry Watson top scores with 46 points. All right. Yeah, ice hockey. So, of course, Canada is going to cream us. Much like a can of cream corn. 1928, paleoanthropologist Davidson Black reported his findings on the ancient human fossils found at Zhuhai, China, in the journal Nature, and declares them to be a new species he names Sinanthropus pekinensis, now known as Homo erectus, one of our direct ancestors. There's Homo erectus, and I believe it goes into Homo sapiens, and then it goes into us. We are called Homo sapiens sapiens. For whatever reason, we have a double dose of sapienism. Okay. 1930, William Howard Taft resigned as U.S. Chief of Justice for health reasons. Yeah, well, he was the heaviest president we've ever had, although his record might get broken at some point. I'm surprised it hasn't been with how people are these days. 1 year later, in 1931, Arkansas legislator passed a motion to pray for the soul of journalist H.L. Mencken after he called the state the apex of Morania. So basically, he dissed the entire state, and they're all like, "Oh, let's pray for him." Like, wow, that's a really good way to turn the cheek as a community. 1931 as well, New Zealand's worst natural disaster occurred. The Hawke's Bay earthquake caused the deaths of 256 people and injured thousands more, devastating Napier at the Hawke's Bay region. So, dang. Too bad Alice isn't here. She would have loved to take that. She likes New Zealand. She has family out there. 1932, Shanghai Express, directed by Joseph von Sternberg and starring Marilyn Dietrich, Clive Brook, and Anne May Wong, premiered in Los Angeles. Alright. We got a historic event here, and 365 days later, in 1933, Dutch communist Marianus van der Lubbe departed for Berlin. He was later arrested, convicted, and executed for supposedly setting fire to the German Reichstag. Alright. Yeah, so this is, part of funny Austrian mustache man's plot to start a war with Russia. So, while that was happening, 1933, German Minister Hermann Göring banned Social Democratic newspaper Vorwärts. What's going on with my camera here? Okay, there we go. I don't want to be above the title. I want to be below the title, but I keep fading in and out of existence like a ghost. Okay, this is getting annoying. Come on. Alright, we'll just have to deal with this. 1937, Don Bradman scored 212 in 441 minutes with an exclamation point for some reason in fifth Test cricket test versus England. Okay. And we got the Yalta Conference in 1945. During World War II, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill arrived in Yalta, Crimea, Soviet Union, for the Big Three Yalta Conference. Yep, Conference of the Big Three in Yalta, from left to right, Winston Churchill, Franklin D. Roosevelt, and Joseph Stalin. And they're all sitting down because FDR couldn't stand, so out of a sign of respect, towards, the other leaders of the other nations, you want to all be equal, like, so. And that's really interesting that Stalin, of all people, would be so humble like that, would do that. That's kind of cool, though. 1950, nuclear physicist Klaus Fuchs was arrested on spying charges. Yeah, we spoke about him not too long ago. He's the guy who leaked U.S. secrets to the Soviet Union. 1 year later, 1951, we got a television debut of Victor Bohr's show on NBC TV. Okay. While that was going on, Tennessee Williams' play The Rose Tattoo premiered in New York City. And 8 years later, 1959, The Day the Music Died. The day the music died. Say, my, Miss American Pie. Plane crash killed musicians Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, J.P. Richardson, a.k.a. the Big Bopper, and the pilot near Clear Lake, Iowa. Yep. Really tragic. A couple years later, actually 1 year later, 1960, La Dolce Vita, directed by Federico Fellini, and starring Marcello Mastroianni and Anita Ekberg, had its film premiere in Italy. Alright. And while that was going on in 1960 as well, British Prime Minister Harold Macmillan made his famous Wind of Change speech in Africa against the apartheid regime, angering South African politicians. Well, get angry all you want. Apartheid is disgusting. 1962, U.S. President John F. Kennedy banned all trade with Cuba except for food and drugs, because people got to eat and people got to get high. In 1967, Jimi Hendrix added vocals and overdubs for Purple Haze at Olympic Studios in London. Basic track had been recorded by the band in January. Alright, so Purple Haze used to just be instrumental. Interesting. 2 years later, in 1969, a musical adaptation of Chaucer's Canterbury Tales opened at Eugene O'Neill Theatre in New York City, running for 121 performances. Alright. While that was going on in 1969 as well, Northern Ireland Prime Minister Terence O'Neill announced the dissolution of the Stormont Parliament and the holding of new elections. Huh. That seems a little shaky, but okay. Got another historic event here in 1978. Egyptian President Anwar al-Sadat and U.S. President Jimmy Carter discussed the Middle East peace process in Washington, D.C. Alright. Yeah, Jimmy Carter, the peanut farmer. And absolutely nothing came of this meeting, it seems, I believe. Oh well. 1 year later, 1979, Minnesota Twins traded Rod Carew to California for 4 players. 1 for 4. Man. You know, how's it feel being worth 4 people? You know? 1980, 30th NBA All-Star Game, Capitol Center in Landover, MD. I don't know what that is. Maryland? East beats West, 144 through to 136 in overtime. Most valuable player was George Gervin of the San Antonio Spurs. SF. I don't know that position. Oh well. 1980 as well. Larry Holmes technically knocks out Lorenzo Holmes in 6 for heavyweight boxing title. Larry Holmes, Lorenzo Holmes. Were they siblings? Hold on a second. Larry Holmes, Lorenzo Holmes. Siblings? Nope. No. Hold on a second. Larry Holmes, wiki. Let's see here. Let's see if he has any siblings. Jacob Holmes, Leander, Charles. So who am I looking for? Lorenzo. Leander. Alright, so it doesn't look like they are siblings, but that's interesting. Holmes versus Holmes. Sounds like Holmes on Holmes. Yeah, whatever, renovation show. 1985, Max Showalter and Peter Walker's musical Harrington and Hart, starring Henry Goring and Mark Hamill, closed at Longacre Theatre, New York City, after 4 performances. Well, that's not a good record. So far, to my recollection, Mark Hamill's been in 2 Broadway theater, or 2 New York City theater productions, and both were rather low, you know, in attendance, or at least in amount of performances. Anyway, 1 year later, 1986, Pixar Animation Studios, responsible for Toy Story and The Incredibles, among many more, headed by Edwin Catmull and Alvy Ray Smith, was spun off from Lucasfilm Limited as an independent film production company with backing of Steve Jobs. Okay, so he did not create Pixar, but he made them into more of their own entity. I see. All right. While that was going on, the Pope and Mother Teresa met in Calcutta. All right. Well, that's really cool. I wonder what they had to say about each other, like, or with each other and all that stuff. Like, Mother Teresa, born, you know, she was born in the Ottoman Empire, like, slightly before the outbreak of the First World War. 1910. Ottoman Empire right here. Albania. All right. 1986 as well, U.S. President Ronald Reagan announced formation of Commission of Inquiry on Challenger accident. Yep. That happened not too long ago. Challenger accident, actually. Let's see here. Because January 28th, so it's been 6 days. It took 6 days to do this? That's kind of slow, Reagan, my guy. Come on. 1989, military coup overthrew Paraguayan dictator Alfredo Stroessner, who fled to Brazil. Alright. 365 days later, 1990, Darryl Strawberry voluntarily entered Smithers Center for Alcohol Rehabilitation. Smithers Center. Alright. He was an alcoholic. That sucks. While he was doing that, jockey Bill Schumacher, at the age of 58, retired after 40,350 horse races. That's a lot of horse races. Wow. 2 years later, in 1992, defense opened calling Norica our ally in war on drugs. Yep, Panamanian general and dictator. Panama Canal, allowed drug smuggling to go on and all that stuff. We gotta move on up to 1993. Federal trial of 4 police officers charged with civil rights violations in videotaped beating of Rodney King began in Los Angeles, California. Yeah, that was rough. So, we got a historic event here. 1 year later, 1994, President Bill Clinton lifted U.S. trade embargo against Vietnam. That took a while. And 3 years later, Carl Sagan, in 1997, public memorial at Ithaca, New York. Oh, this guy. Okay, yeah, so the public memorial after his passing. We got an NHL record in 1998. Florida Panther Dino Ciccarelli was the 9th NHLer to score 600 career goals. It's pretty good. 1998 as well, stamps commemorating Diana, Princess of Wales, went on sale in Britain, and this is, I believe, after her car accident, or not accident, but after her assassination. Yeah, 1 year prior. Car crash. No, it was an assassination. They killed her. 2002. Super Bowl 36. Louisiana Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. The New England Tom Brady's defeated St. Louis Rams 20-17. Most valuable player was Tom Brady, New England quarterback. 1 year later, 2003, actress Lana Clarkson was shot and killed by Phil Spector at Spector's house in Alhambra, California. Oh yeah, is this the Black Dahlia thing or something else? I really wish Alice was here. So many people I've surrounded myself with know a lot more about this stuff than I do. I'm just a reporter. 2008 Super Bowl 42, University of Phoenix Stadium, Glendale, Arizona. New York Giants defeated New England Patriots 17-14. Most valuable player Eli Manning, New York quarterback. Yeah, because Manning didn't let Tom Brady get to the ball to deflate it. We got the first black U.S. Attorney General. 2009, Eric Holder became the 82nd U.S. Attorney General and the first black one, succeeding Michael Mukasey. All right. We got an election of interest in 2016. Rand Paul dropped out of the Republican presidential nomination race. I remember that name. Rand Paul. While that was going on, Obama visited his first U.S. mosque, the Islamic Society of Baltimore Mosque in Maryland. I wonder how many churches he visited, though. How many synagogues. Barack Hussein Obama, born in Kenya. Obviously, yeah. 2019, Pope Francis arrived in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, UAE, on the first ever papal visit to the Arabian Peninsula. Dang, that's pretty cool. 2020, the first Democratic caucus in Iowa won narrowly by Pete Buttigieg, most delegates, and Bernie Sanders, most votes, after lengthy delays and irregularities in reporting the results. Alright. And before we move on to the Burst and Deaths audience, were there any articles that grabbed your attention more than most? Anything you would have liked to anything you wished I had elaborated more about? Anything you would have liked to say had you been here? Start a dialogue in the comments section. Let's move on up into Burst. Starting us off in 1338, we have Jeanne de Bourbon, wife of Charles V of France, died in 1378. We also have Ferdinand Magellan, this guy, in 1480, was a Portuguese explorer born in Trias os Montes e Alto Douro, Portugal, and died in 1521. And yeah, Magellan, he got killed in Hawaii, right? I think he got, yeah. And we got Joseph E. Johnson, 1807, a U.S. military officer, or American military officer, senior officer in the Confederate Army and United States Army, born in Farmville, Virginia. What? Farmville? You like the Facebook game? He was born in Facebook? Oh snap, the tit is here. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for showing up. We got Felix Mendelssohn in 1809, German composer and pianist, Italian symphony, Songs Without Words, born in Hamburg, Germany. Alright. Did I miss that guy? No, I didn't. Elizabeth Blackwell, 1821, English-American physician who was the first woman to receive a medical degree in the U.S., born in Bristol, England, died in 1910. Well, that's cool. All right. Robert Gascoigne Cecil, 1830, third Marquis of Salisbury, British Prime Minister for the Conservative Party, 1885 through 86, 86 through 92, and 1895 through 1902. Born in Hatfield, England, dying in 1903. He needs a hat for that field, you know? So, anywho, we got Pretty Boy Floyd. Why is his photograph looks like he's in the process of becoming Two-Face? That's kind of interesting. Born on the state in 1904, was a U.S. gangster and FBI most wanted criminal, born in Adairsville, Georgia. Died in 1934. Yeah, some of these words I can't pronounce. But yeah, no, that's interesting. He's called Pretty Boy, and then his face is like Thanos snapping away, it looks like. That's kind of weird. We also have George Nissen, 1914, a U.S. inventor, created the trampoline. Born in Blairstown, Iowa, died in 2010. I wonder if he died in a tragic trampoline accident. No, complications from pneumonia, but, thank you for the trampoline. We also have Fran Tarkenton. He's 83 today. He was born on this date in 1940. He was an NFL quarterback for the New York Giants and the Minnesota Vikings. Born in Richmond, Virginia. Farmville. Like the Facebook. Let's see here. Nathan Lane, 1956. That name is familiar. He is a U.S. actor, one of the boys, Frankie and Johnny, born in Jersey City, New Jersey. All right. Looks like he has a butterball face or something like. Looks familiar. Looks like I can't think of the name. Like Rowan Atkinson. No. Who's the guy? Crystal Skull Vodka. Hold on. Crystal Skull Vodka. Dan Aykroyd. He looks like Dan Aykroyd a little bit. Hold on. That's images. I mean, he looks like a younger Dan Aykroyd. Wait, where'd it go? Yeah. Kinda, sorta. Like, looks very much like this pic. This is what I was thinking of. Anyway, gonna move on up here. Who else was born on this date? Isla Fisher, 1976, an Australian actress. Arrested Development and The Great Gatsby, born in Muscat, Oman. She's 47 today. Happy birthday to her. And then we got to 1977, Daddy Yankee. That sounds very gross. Puerto Rican reggaeton singer and rapper, Despacio Gasolina, born in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Despacio. I thought that meme was over, but And we got Elizabeth Holmes, 1984, a U.S. entrepreneur and convicted fraudster, former CEO of Theranos and once the youngest self-made female billionaire, Forbes 2014, born in Washington, D.C., and way to prove stereotypes there. So, we're going to move on up into deaths, starting us off in 619. We have Lawrence of Canterbury, the second Archbishop of Canterbury. We also have Johannes Gutenberg, died on this date in 1468, was a German inventor, movable printing press, died at the age of 70. Birth date is circa 1400, although it says here 1395, so somewhere within that 5-year realm, approximate, is when they believe he was born. But hey, movable printing press, that's a big invention right there. So, we got Theodore Dwight Weld, 1895, a U.S. abolitionist and writer, American Slavery as It Is, Testimony of 1,000 Witnesses, died at the age of 91. I need to get that book. So, yeah. Actually, let's see here. Let me look this up. Why? No. Okay. I don't want... There we go. Nah. There we go. Alright. We also have Woodrow Wilson, 1924, 28th U.S. President of this... Well, 28th President of the U.S. for the Democrat Party, 1913 through 21, and 1919 Nobel Peace Prize laureate. Died at his home in Washington at the age of 67. Yeah, did he, he died of a stroke. Alright. Woodrow Wilson, though, really not a good president. This is a piece of crap, I believe, who authorized the IRS and, the Federal Reserve in 1912. So. Then we got Buddy Holly. Yeah, that's right. We reported on him the day the music died. Died on this date in 1959 was a U.S. rock and roll musician and songwriter, Peggy Sue. That'll be the day. Words of Love died in a plane crash at the age of 22. That is tragically young. Wow. Yeah, he looks young, dude. Wow. But what he did in his short life, he will, for a long time, be a name known. And we're going to move on up to 2014. We lost Louise Breaux, was a U.S. tennis player, Wimbledon 1948 through 50, as well as 55, died at the age of 90. And we also have Charlie Steffort, 1 year later in 2015, a U.S. golfer, the first black U.S. citizen to join the PGA Tour, and he got 2 titles. Died of a stroke at the age of 92. Look at this guy with a cigar like a G. He knows what he's doing. Wearing that hat, Man, he looks really cool. We also have Matti Nykänen in 2019, a Finnish ski jumper, got 4 Olympic golds in 1984 and 88. Died of diabetes complications at 55. That sucks. And last but not least, we got Tony Traubert. Died on this date 2 years ago in 2021. He was a U.S. tennis player for Wimbledon 1955, U.S. Open 1953 and 55, French Open 54 and 55. Died at the age of 90. So 1955 seems to have been his year. And that shall conclude the show. Once again, you can check the underbar of the description for any links you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. For your dose of past events daily, we stream every day at 10 in the morning Pacific time, which is 11 Mountain, 12 Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. And that means that sometime between 11 to 12 Pacific time is when these videos will be uploaded onto our other platforms. Specifically, currently, right now, the Omni Coalition's YouTube, Rumble, and BitChute. Please go check them out, as I said before. As well as the other links there. Doom Guy's YouTube, Muffin's YouTube, Soen's Twitch, and all that stuff. Anyway, for all of you and all of us, I am Ao Xander, and you are you. And until you catch us tomorrow, or if you're interested in some notable events, weather, and sports, aka news, we have the Omni Coalition News Show coming up sometime around 2 to 3 p.m. Pacific time on Rumble and BitChute exclusively. Anyway, until you catch us whenever it is, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!